Hi everyone. Welcome to English Story School. Today, I have an inspiring story to share with you, not only to enhance your listening skills, but to motivate you as well. The story is called Nothing is Free, and it highlights how persistence and dedication can truly change a person's life. In a quiet village tucked away in a valley surrounded by rolling hills, there lived a young man named Jack, only 23 years old. Jack had big dreams. He envisioned opening a chain of restaurants and becoming a well-known entrepreneur. But his life was far from easy. His family was struggling financially. His father, Ben, worked as a mechanic, while his mother, Sarah, cleaned houses to make ends meet. Jack's little sister, Mia, was just 11 and looked up to him as a role model. One chilly evening, Jack sat outside his humble house, gazing up at the stars. He whispered to himself, "I want to give my family a better future, but how can I start when we can barely afford to get through the week?" He confided in his father, who sighed deeply and said, "Jack, dreams aren't handed to you. If you want something, you need to work for it. Start with what you have, no matter how small it may seem." Jack pondered his father's words for a long time, and then an idea struck him. He realized that in his village, people loved fresh bread, but they had to travel a long way to buy it. So, he decided to sell fresh bread locally. There was just one problem. Jack had no money to buy the bread to sell. Undeterred, he decided to take a chance. He walked to the bakery owned by Mr. Thomas, a stern and skeptical old man. After traveling several miles, Jack approached Mr. Thomas and said, "I want to sell your bread in my village. I don't have the money to pay up front, but I promise I'll return the amount within a week, and I'll keep a small profit. Can you trust me?" Mr. Thomas raised an eyebrow, looking Jack over. "Why should I trust you, young man?" he asked. Jack replied with unwavering confidence, "Because I'm determined, and I'll work tirelessly to prove myself." After a long pause, Mr. Thomas grunted, "Fine, I'll give you the bread for a week. If you fail to pay me back, don't ever come here again." Jack's heart soared. The very next morning, he quickly carried the bread back to his village and set up a small stall near the town square. With energy and enthusiasm, he greeted every person passing by, shouting, "Fresh bread, warm and delicious." At first, people hesitated, unsure of the new bread vendor. At first, the people in the village were unsure about the bread, but Noah, eager to make a name for himself, began offering free samples to passers-by. It didn't take long before he made his first sale. By the end of the day, all the loaves had been sold, and he made a modest profit. That evening, he returned to Mr. Thomas, the baker, and repaid him for the bread. The elderly man nodded approvingly and said, "You kept your promise. Come back tomorrow." From that moment forward, Noah threw himself into his work with unrelenting passion. Every day, he woke up at 5 a.m., walked to the bakery, transported the bread back to his village, and sold it with a smile. Within 2 months, he had saved enough to buy a small cart to carry more bread. One day, a customer gave him an interesting suggestion. "Noah," the customer said, "why don't you start baking your own bread? You're great at selling, but if you baked it yourself, you'd increase your profits." Noah was both excited and apprehensive. He had never baked anything before. That moment, however, made him realize a valuable truth: success doesn't come without a price. If he wanted to make it, he would have to take risks and push himself beyond his comfort zone. The thought of baking his own bread gnawed at him. If he could do it, he wouldn't need to rely on Mr. Thomas for supply, and his profits would skyrocket. But the obstacle was big. He had no idea how to bake. So, the next morning, after making his payment to Mr. Thomas, he mustered the courage to ask, "Mr. Thomas, would you consider teaching me how to bake?" The old man raised an eyebrow. "Why would I teach you? If you start baking your own bread, you won't need to buy from me anymore, and that wouldn't be good for my business." Noah met his gaze and said, "You're right, but I will never forget the man who gave me my start. If I succeed, I will help support your bakery too." Mr. Thomas took a moment to think, then replied, "All right, but baking isn't something you can just learn in a day. It requires patience, time, and plenty of hard work. If you're truly committed, I'll teach you." The lessons began early the very next morning. Noah arrived at the bakery at 3 a.m., before the sun had even risen. Mr. Thomas showed him how to mix the flour, knead the dough, and bake the bread to perfection. In the beginning, Noah struggled. His hands were sore from kneading the dough, and the loaves either turned out too hard or far too soft. One day, after ruining yet another batch, Noah sat down in frustration. "Maybe I'm not cut out for this," he thought. "Maybe I should quit." But then he recalled his father's words, "Dreams don't come without effort." Noah realized that each failure was a lesson, teaching him something new. Giving up was no longer an option. The next day, he returned to the bakery, more determined than ever. He focused on each step, practicing them until his bread began to improve. One day, Mr. Thomas handed Jack a freshly baked loaf of bread and said, "This is perfect, Jack. You're ready now." Jack felt a rush of excitement. He rented a small oven and started baking bread at home. His family was amazed at his drive and perseverance. Mia, his younger sister, helped him pack the bread, while Sarah, his mother, made tea for him as he worked through the night. Before long, Jack wasn't just selling bread. He began making cookies and pastries too. The locals quickly became loyal customers, praising his baking, saying, "Jack's bread is the best we've ever had." But success came with its share of challenges. One day, a flashy new bakery opened in the village, run by a young man named Ethan. Ethan's bakery was modern, with bright signs and elegant decor. People, intrigued by the new shop, began flocking to buy from him instead. Jack noticed his sales were plummeting and doubt crept in. "What if I lose everything I've worked for?" he thought. But instead of giving in to fear, Jack decided to evolve. He spoke to his customers, asking, "What do you like about Ethan's bakery? How can I improve?" Some customers said, "Ethan's bakery looks so clean and appealing," while others admired his beautifully designed cakes. Jack realized he needed to expand not only his baking skills, but also his business sense. He used his savings to repaint his cart, added colorful decorations, and started giving out free samples of his new pastries. He even learned cake decorating by watching videos at the local library. Slowly, customers returned. One evening, an elderly woman approached Jack and said, "I've seen many people give up when things got tough, but you didn't. That's why we support you." Her words filled Jack with gratitude. Months went by, and Jack's business continued to grow. He saved enough money to rent a small storefront. It wasn't as grand as Ethan's, but it was warm and welcoming. Jack named it Jack's Fresh Bakes. Every morning, he woke up before dawn, baked fresh bread, and opened his shop with a smile. Sarah and Mia helped out. Mia, now 14, loved chatting with the customers, while Sarah managed the accounts. But Jack knew this was only the beginning. He wanted to reach more people, make his family proud, and prove to himself that hard work could take him anywhere. Jack's Fresh Bakes soon became the heart of the village. People loved the bread, cakes, and pastries, and Jack's business continued to grow. But life had more tests in store for him. One stormy night, as Jack was locking up his shop, he saw smoke rising from the bakery. Rushing inside, he discovered a small fire near the oven. He quickly grabbed water and put it out, but much of his equipment was damaged. The next morning, when the townspeople learned of the fire, they rushed to check on him. "Jack, we're so sorry," some of them said. "What's Jack going to do now?" people whispered. "Is this the end for him?" Jack felt crushed, but not defeated. Standing outside his shop, he declared, "This is just a setback. I've faced challenges before, and I'll overcome this one too. I won't give up. After taking a deep breath, Jack started a plan. He counted his savings, only to realize that it wasn't enough to replace all the damaged equipment. For a moment, panic set in, but then Jack recalled his journey, how he started with nothing but a dream and hard work. Instead of wallowing in fear, Jack reached out for help. He went to Mr. Thomas, who had retired, and asked, "Mr. Thomas, what would you do if you were in my position?" Mr. Thomas smiled and said, "Jack, you already know the answer. You've taught yourself that nothing is free. Keep working harder, believe in yourself, and others will believe in you too." Motivated by Mr. Thomas's words, Jack decided to rebuild. He didn't wait for a miracle. Instead, he started baking at home again with the few remaining tools he had. He told his customers, "I won't let you down. I'll continue serving you, even if it's just a little at first." The village admired Jack's determination. Many people began offering their support. Some donated ingredients, others gave small amounts of money, and a few volunteered their time to help clean and repair the bakery. Jack realized something important. When you work hard and don't give up, people notice and are willing to help. After months of perseverance, Jack reopened his bakery. It was better than ever. He painted the walls, added new decorations, and even introduced new items like muffins and cupcakes. The customers were thrilled. During the grand reopening, the mayor of the town said, "Jack, you are truly inspiring. You've shown us all that with determination, anything is possible." Standing in front of the crowd, Jack said, "I want to thank each of you. You've taught me that nothing in life is free. No success, no respect, no love. Everything must be earned through hard work, patience, and perseverance. Never let failure stop you. Every challenge is just a step towards something better." From that day forward, Jack's Bakery became more than just a place to buy bread. It became a symbol of hope. People from neighboring towns began visiting to meet the young man who never gave up. Jack's story teaches us several important lessons. 1. Dreams aren't free. They take hard work and sacrifice. 2. Failure is never the end. It's a lesson to grow and improve. 3. Help yourself first. When people see your efforts, they will support you. 4. Never give up. The darkest times often come just before success. Jack didn't just build a bakery. He built a life full of purpose, pride, and respect. And so can you. Whatever your dream is, keep chasing it. Remember, nothing is free, but everything is possible.